Hello and welcome to part 2 of the R1100GS tank refit. Here we're going to be replacing the battery and the fuel pump and then refitting the tank back on the bike and getting the bike operational again. Come along, have a look. Here is the fuel pump assembly. Now before I put it back in the tank, I've given it a good check over. And you'll never guess what I found. This little wire here, this little earth, it's become unsoldered. Look, it's a dry joint, just not contacting the printed circuit board at all. This one on this side was a little bit iffy and I soldered it up last time it was out. So that one there wants resoldering before it goes back. And there you can see, I've soldered that back on there. Nobody's more surprised than me that it's soldered on, so now that can now go back into the new tank. Here's one for the eagle-eyed. What I've just done is okay, except for the fact there's a fault, and I didn't notice the fault until I had the bike completely rebuilt. The fault is clearly evident in this footage, which meant that I had to take the entire thing back to pieces in order to fix it. Can you see the fault? Let me know in the comments, because it'd be interesting to know if anybody else has seen it. Important thing to note on these, if you take this out, normally it's to replace the pump or the fuel filter. It's normally the fuel filter, because that's why people have to take this out. When you put the fuel filter on, the arrow shows the direction of fuel flow. It must point to the left. Must point to the left. The number of times I've seen it pointing that way. The fuel flow goes from the pump round this pipe here, through the filter, round this pipe here, and then out to the injectors. So put the fuel filter on correctly and make sure these are tight, because if these aren't tight, then the fuel pump just sprays into the tank and you don't get any fuel delivery at the injectors, then the bike won't run. Common fault, that is, with these pumps. So now we carefully feed the pump in the correct way. You can only go in one way, and then once it's lined up, refit all the nuts and washers and evenly tighten it up. Then we've got to do those two pipes. You've got to make sure they come up towards the cap. So you have to look inside there, see the pipes and get them up ready to fit the cap. So you wind each nut down until it just touches the plate, and then a couple of turns at a time in diagonal sequence until the plate carefully then sits home nice and gently. Don't tighten anything up too early, just a few little. You can feel when it starts to get tight, that's when you stop turning it. Starts to get tight, stop turning it. Don't over tighten them, just nip them up. Yep. tight. Done. So next we've got these two pipes out, put the clamps on them, make sure the clamps don't go skiddling off to the bottom of the pipe, because that'll be a bloody nightmare. Then you've got to fit this in and fit the pipes to it. Essential they're done up tight before they're finally put into position. Like that. And then the cap put back in position. Yep, and here's the second mistake. Did you notice it? It was easy to rectify, but I didn't notice it when I was doing it up. Did you? Let me know in the comments. Be interesting to see if you've seen it. And cap all bolted up in position, all ready to go. Now all I need to do now is to fit a new pipe, feed pipe from the pump, then the tank is ready to be reinstalled. So that's the pump done, all fitted to the tank, ready to go back on. Now I'm just going to show you what's involved with the battery. So battery removal, once the tank's out of the way, take the air box lid off, fold up the air scoop, take the battery rubber strap off, and then disconnect the battery. Always disconnect the earth first and then the live. Once they're both undone, the battery can then just be lifted out of its case. Ready for the new battery. So new battery's arrived. Before you do anything, before you fit it to the bike, check the voltage that's available with it free charge. So 12.8. 12.8 tells me that it's fully charged, and as a result it doesn't need any charge and can go straight on to the bike. So slide the battery in, making sure it's the right way around. The positive should be there. Get the little strap, put the strap in position. Hold the battery in place, like so. Then we need to reconnect the battery. The positive there, always do the positive first, and then the negative. This is going to be a little bit of a whistle because it doesn't connect. So, but yeah, positive on there, and then we'll have to make something up to connect the negative there. Come back for the exciting instalment. There you go, so that attached in the normal way, that's your positive. The negative wouldn't go onto there, so I had to put that bit there. Yep. Guess what that bit is? Yeah, that's a link out of a chain. Yeah, connected that, so that quite comfortably makes that connected. So it's now all connected up, ready to rock and roll. So the thing we're going to do now is pull this back down to here, connect that back up to the air filter box. Didn't put that on. What a complete dick. I've got to do that in a minute. What a complete dick. Put this thing back on here like this, connector coney. That's it. Put that on there. Connect that up with those things that you can never get. So, Mission Impossible that. Mission Impossible. Yeah, I've got to reconnect that to the loom, because that's what's his name, the lights. There you go, that's the battery reconnected. The tank can now go back into position. Nice and carefully. Reconnect everything down this end, the multi-plug, the two pipes, making sure that they're pushed home quite a long way onto these plastic pipes. Do the clips up tight, make sure everything is back exactly as it should be. Reconnect these two overflow pipes. Now we're going to put some fuel in it, and then we're going to look at it under pressure when the engine not running, but when the ignition's on and the pump is pressurised, to make sure there's no leaks from this area, because obviously any leaks from there when the bike's running could be deadly. So make sure that that's a-okay before we put the final cover on. We'll do that bolt up, put that final cover on, and then the whole lot then is done. Cover on, seat on, all fully finished and now ready for the important part of the year, MOT, and then riding. There you go then, finally finished. Another job on the R1100GS. Tank, battery and fuel pump all fitted back in position. Bike working, go for its MOT. Hope that's been of some use to you. See you soon. Bye.